All right, here we have your game. You're playing with the white piece against Knight's Tour, and let's get into it. I'm glad to see, Mario, that my feedback was useful. All right, Knight f3, d5, g3, c5, and now you go d4. d4 at this point doesn't really make that much sense, because you can first play the other useful moves, that is bishop g2 and castle. So for example, bishop g2, knight f6, castle, and you let black decide what he's going to do next. For example, now if he goes knight c6, you can go d4, and it's a different kind of thing, because here you can take on c6. Whereas if black, for example, doesn't put his knight on c6, here you can still do this, but actually this is, even though black's losing tempo, this is completely fine for black, because now you have to retreat with the knight, and then black just develops and he's fine. So I wouldn't go d4 so early. Okay, or go d4 here. You can play d4 here, obviously, and then on so on, because now after c5 you can go c4, and this is quite fine for white. Okay, just a little side note on the opening, e6. Okay, your opponent doesn't exploit it really, because if he wants to exploit it, he can just take on d4 here, and after knight takes d4, he probably can already go e5, and this would be just completely fine for black. Okay, so e6, bishop g2, knight c6, castle, knight f6, c4, that's the main move, takes. But I think you weren't too familiar with the theory here, because now you play knight c3, which after this move you're not really fighting for an advantage. Okay, knight bd2 is clearly the main move, and also makes a lot of sense because you're attempting to win back the pawn, which you will. Black cannot hold on to this. But recently there has been a trend that also knight fd2 is being tried. For example, Carlsen played this move, and I think Anand also played this move, and just another try here. And then I think all these positions are just a tiny bit better for white maybe, but ultimately black should be able to equal this, I think. I haven't spent too much time on this, but also from the results I saw. But after knight c3, I mean, you need to win back this pawn, right? So rather sooner than later, and yeah, in the game you're not able to, and that's a problem, because then you're pawn down. Bishop d7. Here you should play knight d2. Again, go after this pawn, and if knight a5 now, then knight d4, knight takes, and well, bishop e7, and you have sufficient compensation here, bishop f4, and this should be still equal. Okay, also bishop g5 is possible, h6, takes, but once again, here was necessary to go knight d2, but it's already more difficult. Knight a5, knight d4, bishop e7, now b4. Black cannot take on b4 because of knight takes f6 check. So takes, knight takes, and now rook b1. After knight a5, knight b5. But obviously this is not an easy line to play, right? You're sacrificing another pawn to get initiative, and well, not an easy thing to do for sure, but this was the way to go, since in the game after rook ac1, knight a5, you're not getting that pawn back. That's a problem. You're just down one pawn. Okay, you played the best moves here, knight e4, bishop e7, knight d6. At least you're gaining the bishop, but still, pawn is a pawn. And here, rook dd1, I would maybe keep my rook on d4 so I can at least annoy my opponent by, for example, putting my rook on h4 later. And it seems the rook can be rather well strong on the 4th rank here. So this rook d4 seems like a better try to me to just set some problems for your opponent. I mean, this is what you need to do here. This is what you need to do if you're worse. Always set problems. Rook d1, bishop c6, knight d4, takes, rook a c8. And here, the best try would be to go b4 or b3, but b4 is very forcing. Black has to take en passant. And then we would like to get the rooks maybe off the board, but if the knight takes b3, black can just go knight c4, so that's not really that great. So a takes b3, and at least you have gotten rid of this pawn on c4, which was already far advanced, and you definitely have some chance to hold this. For example, a6, and now maybe g4 even, to fix the pawns here, to claim some space. And I think you have decent chance to hold this endgame. Of course, you have to defend probably for a long time, but you have chances to hold this for sure. Whereas after knight b5, this is not accomplishing anything, unfortunately. Yes, you're getting your knight to d6, you're attacking something, but then already you're getting pushed back and you're just helping black here. Look what happened here. Look what happened. You played from this position to this position. You just played knight moves, right? In the meantime, black was able to play a6, to play f5, the move you want to play, and to get his rook to d8. Whereas you have moved around with your knight. So you need to ask yourself before you go for some kind of plan or some kind of maneuver, if it's helping you and what you're accomplishing. So here, yes, you could bring your knight to d6, but it couldn't stay there. If you could anchor there, would be great, but you can't, and black just can push it away, and that's that. So just doesn't do anything. Okay, knight f3, rook takes, rook d6. You evaluated correctly that the knight endgame would be completely hopeless here, so rook c1, avoiding the knight trade, f6, and now we play king h3. I like the creativity here, going with the king on a little march, trying to get some counterplay, but it's just way too slow, unfortunately, way too slow, so it just doesn't work. You would need to play king f1, get your king closer to the queen side where he has the majority, and then just try to defend. I mean, this position is lost, I'm pretty sure, but well, we're all humans, we all make mistakes, and as long as you can set problems, there's a good chance your opponent will make mistakes, so you need to try it. Right? And after king h3, it was too easy for your opponent to win this game, really. I mean, I didn't see any more chances afterwards. Yes, you win the pawn on h6 eventually, but obviously your pawn on h2 is way too far away to do anything, and it's just hopeless against these two pawns. They're too quick. And even though you get black to sacrifice the rook against the pawn, he has his two advanced pawns here, and one of them will queen, and that's that. So just didn't work out with the counterplay, unfortunately. Yes, so what can we take away from this game? Well, for one, you might want to spend some time with this opening and look into knight fd2 or knight bd2, the two main moves here. And also take your time in the opening. Probably you did, but if you're pawn down, you want to get it back, especially in the endgame where there's no mating attack or anything going on. And here you should better do it sooner than later, because, well, later you couldn't anymore, right? So that was the main problem here. I mean, knight c3 was the beginning of your problems in this game. And then later on, you could have twice played knight d2, go for this pawn, but when you eventually did, it was well, no, you actually never did. Yeah, here was already too late. After rook ac1, knight a5, black holds onto a pawn, and then you're just facing a defensive task for the rest of the game, which is of course difficult. All right, and you're saying that you normally play queen a4, and first time I played this queen d takes c5. Yeah, this also explains what is going on here. Okay, queen a4 I'm also not familiar with, but okay, I don't know much about this opening in general. So yeah, if you play a new move for the first time, you need to look a little bit into it and figure it out, and I'm sure you'll do so before your next game in this variation, hopefully. Even though, I mean, honestly, probably you could just get away not knowing that much about this line. I think black goes c3 now and then continues from there. And you should definitely, I mean, you shouldn't be fighting for equality in this line. If you get the pawn back, it's only white who's pressing a little bit, but usually the games end in a draw, I think.